Today we're looking at the 2020 XT6 Cadillac, the new 7-seater.
Now, you know what I think about this brand. What's that?
You love it. You're a big fan.
I'm a big fan because I grew up in an era when Cadillac meant something. It was a prestige car. They had beautiful cars in the old days. Now I think they're bringing back some nice looking models. And what I like about Cadillac and I like about this is it doesn't look like everything else.
No, it doesn't. You know, it's got this boxy look to it. It is athletic, sporty. It comes with standard 20-inch wheels now.
Yeah, and this one is the sport trim. So just to let everybody know, they have their luxury line and they have their sport line, and they have a different look. So the luxury line has more of the traditional Cadillac chrome.
Yes.
And this one gets what?
Well, it's got a good mix of the chrome and the black trim, which I really like. It actually makes it look a little more sophisticated.
Yeah, the front grille, the black grille with just a little bit of the satin trim around. The windows are black. Yeah. I would automatically gravitate towards the sport. But this car, I think, is interesting because it's kind of an in-betweener. So basically what they did is they took the XT5, made it a plus, and now it's an XT6.
Yes, and they didn't have it before, so anybody who needs a little bit more space, this is something you should definitely look at.
LED headlamps come standard equipment, 20-inch wheels. You can opt for 21s. We don't have those on here today. Power liftgate is standard equipment. It comes very nicely equipped. So let's get in, go for a drive. This video is brought to you by Car Cost Canada. Get the dealer's cost, list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. Use the promo code MOTORMOUTH to become an expert member and get extra searches. The link is in the description below. So I'm just thinking, we've had plenty of Cadillacs that you've driven with me in, but I don't think you've ever driven a Cadillac. Have you?
Maybe not. Yes, I drove the Escalade.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
That's a different animal.
Yeah, it's a whole different animal. It's huge, it's top heavy, but let's not review the Escalade. And so I wasn't sure what to make of this, and it is so fun to drive, so sporty. It's got 310 horsepower, 271 pound-foot of torque.
What?
It's a 3.6 liter V6 9-speed automatic.
What am I going to? I might as well just stop and let me out. I don't need to be here. What am I going to talk about?
I know my stuff. So I think this is just so fun. It's easy to maneuver. I can't even tell you how impressed I am with the drive. And you know, the drive is important to me.
So the Sport gets an adaptive suspension. It isn't magnetic ride control that is available in other General Motors products. It's sort of a lighter version of that, but it is an adaptive suspension, and you do have modes here. And I like it in Sport because this is the Sport model, and it does make a difference with this product.
It does, and even when you go over speed bumps, you don't even feel the speed bumps. It's quite something.
But you get good feedback.
Yeah, you do. You get really good feedback.
I have been saying for a long time, and I encourage you to go and watch the GMC Acadia review I did a year or 2 years ago when that vehicle came out.
Yeah.
And I've said many times, and we've got the Chevy Bolt video that's going to come out as well, is that General Motors is one of the best companies when it comes to calibrating suspension. Now, a lot of people would roll their eyes and go, well, come on, Zach. You get the big floaty, like the Cadillacs of old, right?
Yeah.
But the new General Motors cars, they have excellent suspension feedback, and this, I think, is where this excels.
Well, for me, I don't like a floaty drive, so the fact that I really like this tells you it is not floaty at all.
So I picked it up on Monday. Tuesday, you drove it. You came home. I said, what did you think? And what did you say?
I said, I love it. I love the drive. I just love it.
And you said it might be my favorite.
It might be my favorite in the 7-seater category, for sure.
Now, a couple of things. Lincoln, of course, the direct competitor to Cadillac, has just brought out their Aviator, and Genesis is just about to bring out their GV80. But the Lincoln, the only one I drove, which was impressive, it's got a great engine, it's bigger than this, is that they have air suspension. And I do not like air suspension. So it would drive you mad. That's that really floaty sort of thing. It's a very different approach. So they're going traditional luxury, and Cadillac is going more European. Which one appeals to you?
More European, for sure.
Yeah, and I think there is a bigger market for that. The problem is, you're competing with all the Europeans.
Yeah.
And that's what they do really well, right?
Yes, they do really well. But if you want something that looks different, if you want a 7-seater that you're only using once in a while, then I think this is it.
So you're a mom with 2 kids. What is the number one priority for you for a family vehicle if you were going to get a 7-passenger? Is it just space, or is it a combination of space and what you need as a driver?
For me, it's a combination of everything. Like I've talked to you about this before, I have my checklist, and drive is on the top of the list for sure for me. But then you have a family and you need space, and it has to work within
Those parameters, right?
yeah, and what's your activity level with your kids.
Okay, so let's pull over and talk about that, okay? So I mentioned the Acadia I drove. The interesting thing is, so this is based on the same sort of architecture and platform. When they brought that Acadia out a year or so ago, they made it smaller, which was a really interesting choice compared to, say, the Chevy Traverse, which is still quite big. So they wanted to have a more city-based utility, and it's interesting that they chose that platform for this Cadillac. So it's not really a direct competitor for some other 7-seaters. It's sort of like a 5+2, right?
That's right. I would agree with that. I think you would use it when you need it, but you wouldn't use it all the time, because the cargo space for groceries, it's not that big.
Yeah, with the 3rd row of seats up, you know,
Yeah.
I've got camera gear back there today. You went grocery shopping, and you barely fit everything in.
Barely fit it in. I had to throw some things in the back seat.
But if you're not using the 3rd row all the time, you would use the power folding rear seats, put them down, and then you have a lot of room. So it's not as big as some of its direct competitors.
No.
So that is a negative and maybe a positive, because you like the way it handles.
Yeah, it could be both. It's really about, let's go back to it. It's really about budget. It's really about value. It's about space.
And what you need.
And what you need.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's a personal decision. Now we get into the real facts.
Yeah.
This screen is 8 inches. And
Yeah.
in the premium world these days, that is kind of small. Most of them are 12.3 inches.
That's right. It's really small. An 8-inch screen, they could have done better. This is a brand new vehicle.
Yeah, 2020.
Yeah, let's do a little more.
But I will say they had what was called the Cadillac user experience, or the Q system. A lot of people hated it. I got used to it because I drove a lot of them. Now they've gone to what everybody has in the industry. It's a touchscreen there, but also a controller here, so you can do it either way. That makes a big difference. That's competitive with everybody else. Okay, now Cadillac makes a big deal about everything that you see that looks like carbon, leather, suede, aluminum is the real thing. And that's what this has. So it's real carbon, real leather. It's hand cut and sewn leather. However, they cheaped out around this little cutout here, around where you would say maybe put your phone or something. It's vinyl. Like, I mean, it's to me, as soon as I got in this, I went, oh, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
That they went to such great efforts here up, but then from here down, they cheaped out on that. And I don't know. That just bugs me.
Well, you know what? Cutting costs, trying to save money here and there. Maybe that's the reason for it. I also have a problem with some of the storage in here.
It's not big. It's not a big car.
It's not big. And I think even the side compartments where you throw your water bottle or garbage bags, whatever you have, it's very narrow and it's very short.
I think this comes really nicely equipped. Like, this product comes with the pano roof, with the power tailgate, and leather seats, and heated steering wheel, heated rear seats. All of that is pretty nicely equipped. All right, I'm going to take it for a spin, but you took everything I was going to talk about. 3.6 liter, 310 horsepower, 9-speed automatic. What have I got to talk about?
I don't know. It's all covered. Time to go home.
First things first.
Oh, man. I don't
People
understand
ask-
how you don't like that.
I don't like the sun shining on me when I'm driving. I like it dark inside and bright outside. Usually I have sunglasses on. I don't like the sun hitting the back of my sunglasses. Okay, so one thing I like about this system is you hit the modes here. You can actually drive this vehicle in their touring mode, which is just 2-wheel drive. So that's to save fuel. Plus, this engine has cylinder management, so it's a V6. When you're driving under light load, it will turn off 2 of the cylinders and you'll go down to four cylinder. So I was surprised, like when I picked this up on Monday, I thought, XT6, It's the same old 3.6 liter. What's it going to be like to drive? And within about 5 blocks, I was like, wow, this actually feels good. 310 horsepower, I didn't think would be, with the old V6, but they've done a good job with this.
Really good job. It is just so fun to drive and so much power.
And I think it's because the last XT5 I drove didn't have this 9-speed automatic, and I think the gearing really makes a big difference. And yeah, I would, here's the thing. If you're like Andrea and I and you like more of that European feel, just buy the sport model. Get the adaptive suspension and you'll be happy.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I think for a lot of young people that watch these videos, Cadillac to them is Escalade. Wrappers, chrome, big wheels, a real sort of iconic car in American culture is what they think of Cadillac. And so for me, it's the big, beautiful sedans they used to make, and for a lot of young people, it's Escalade. And I think this is sort of like somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, oh, for sure, somewhere in the middle. This is a tough one, but I think if you really love Cadillac and you just need the extra space, this is something you would really say, yes, I want this.
So a lot of people are going to ask me, which do you prefer? The Aviator or this? Well, they're very different. I don't love the Aviator air suspension at all. I mentioned it already. I don't like air suspension in most cars. And I will take this more European approach. So they've gone traditional American luxury, which you would think it would appeal to me because I sort of remember that era. But, nice interiors, too soft. This is more trying to compete with the Europeans with the German sort of attitude and almost Bauhaus interior, simplistic approach, which I think appeals to me more.
And you really love German cars, and I do as well. But this Cadillac has really gone to #1.
Really? Wow, that's saying a lot.
Yeah.
Wow, Andrea, trade in the Cayenne.
Well, not quite. I don't need a 7-seater. I still just like my 5-seater. Thank you very much.
I configured this morning before we came out, I got the sort of upgrade package to get the better seats and better stereo and all that kind of stuff, and it came out to 68 with with an optional fancy paint color. There it is. It's basically the Cadillac version of the Acadia. I like the Acadia. I like this. Do you like it?
I like it. I was excited to drive it. I think that we are in a fierce 7-seater market, and I think Cadillac has done a pretty good job with it.
It's different.
It's different.
Car Cost Canada provides the dealer's cost, a list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. Use the promo code MOTORMOUTH to become an expert member and get access to exclusive and powerful savings. The link is in the description below.